Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to our workshop. We're at Team 3128, and we're going to be talking about strategy at comp and scouting systems. So first of all, we are 3128 Strategy Division, and I'm Dhruv. So why is strategy important? Well, strategy helps allocate your roles effectively throughout your alliance, like who's playing defense, who's feeding, and who's and etc. And it also helps choose your alliance partners. And as 1678 Citrus Circus once said, your robot wins matches while your scouting wins competitions. So in this meeting, we'll be talking about pre-competition preparation, such as pre-scouting and pit scouting, during the competition, such as comp roles and pick listing, and scouting in general, like what is scouting and your scouting applications. First of all, we have scouting competition preparation.
Hello, everyone. My name is Saban. I'm going to be presenting this section. So what is pre-scouting? Pre-scouting is essentially gathering info and insights of teams for upcoming competitions. We usually scour through social media, previous competitions to collect information and to gauge the bot's capabilities, while also noting the robot's archetypes, capabilities, and general driver behavior. And the reason we pre-scout is because it's integral to developing early match strategies in which, well, because you don't have any actual scouting data to base off your strategies off of, we need to use old information in order to create it. In which here's the template that we usually use. We just put the team name, the regionals attended, and in the big box, we just put in information relevant to the robot and the driver, in which stated here, where applicable, robot design, driver behavior, etc. All right. Seating arrangements and early crew. The reason we do early crew is because we need to reserve good seats for the scouts, in which that allows us to have a better view of the field, in which that allows us to collect better data and create more sophisticated strategies during the match. And also because there's an entire horde of teams that also wants to do the same thing, which that's the reason why we have to be there a couple of hours early before comp starts. And pit scouting is when scouts go to the pit and talk to other team about their robots. The main purpose of pit scouting is to teach us about each individual team and answer objective questions. Like, for example, was there like drivetrain, was there like robot weight, etc., etc. Also, we might ask for like quantitative data because people and teams cannot exaggerate the data, in which if they do, they would probably start lying. Anyways, another reason is it lets us observe aspects of other robots that we may not see in the matches. Like, for example, if a bot never amped in the entirety of the competition, we might just write it off as like they cannot amp. However, we just go to the pits, we might just understand that as like the amp was broken for the entire time. Also, it gives us information for possible alliance when pick listing and check on how a robot is doing in the middle of a comp. And here's the forms that we use, which mainly pit scouting is also collecting for the robot architecture. And also, one important note, don't be afraid. Do not be worried about it. It's not an interrogation period. Consider it as like a great opportunity to bond with other people outside of your team, make some friends, trade, get team merch, get pins and stickers, and also another important note, have a good time. And that'll be a perfect segue to our next section, during the competition.
Hi everyone, I'm Amy and I'll be presenting this section, which is what we do during the competition. So the matches have started, 3, 2, 1, crescendo, and here's what we do. First, we have different roles that each person plays on this team. During a competition, the first one is the lead strategist. This person looks at other alliances' data and like what they're good at and uses that to create match strategies with the help of the match data analyst. They also, once they have strategy made, they go tell the drive coach which strategy to implement for the next match. And then the drive coach and the lead strat go to alliance meetings to finalize which strategy to use. They either tell other alliances or tell other teams what their strategy will be, or they listen to if other teams have an idea what strategy to use. They will all discuss and figure out what would be the best one to ensure their success in the next match. And these alliance meetings happen about 3 to 5 matches before the match you actually have to play in, so that everyone's ahead of schedule and has enough time to finalize the strategy and not rush. And one important skill that the lead strategist must have is good communication, because they have to talk to a lot of different people and make sure everyone's on the same page and knows what to do. The next competition role is the match data analyst. You'll never guess what this person does. They analyze match data. They also help the lead strategist with strategizing, because they can see all the data about all the robots at the competition, so they can see how to best work with the robots you're allying with and how to best beat the robots that you're against. They also work with the head scout to determine faulty data, like if a scout scouted something wrong. And they also, once we have a pick list, we'll explain what a pick list is later. They update the pick list, because if a team is doing better than they were doing once we made the pick list, they might have a higher priority, or if they're not doing as good, they might go lower down on the pick list. We have more comp roles, and these ones have to do with scouting. First, the head scout creates the scout schedule, so that's when the scouts do their job and when the scouts are taking breaks. They also troubleshoot scouting problems and make sure the data is not faulty. And if a scout has been having continuously faulty data, they can work with that scout to see if there's if something is going wrong. Like maybe that scout can't see the field very well, or maybe they don't know what one of the buttons does on the scouting app. And finally, they make sure that the scouts are drinking water, taking breaks, having snacks, and not ignoring their basic human survival needs, because scouts are human too, and it is not fun to scout for multiple hours straight without having breaks and taking care of yourself. Finally, the rest of the strategy department will usually be scouts, and we need at least 6, because there will be 1 for each robot on the field. And these scouts use scouting apps to collect quantitative and qualitative data about robots that they see playing during the matches. And you'll learn about the scouting apps later and how they exactly do that. The more scouts there are, then the more data redundancy we have. So that makes our data more accurate, because multiple scouts can watch the same robot and one person might get something that someone else missed. Or there's more breaks, because we have more spare scouts than the original 6, and they can rotate through breaks. Here's a flowchart of how all the competition roles interact with each other. The scouts and the head scout communicate, they share data, they determine faulty data. Then the MDA and head scout talk about what data they need collected and which data they don't need, which data is faulty. And then the MDA helps the lead strat determine a strategy using the data that the scouts have collected. And then the lead strat, once they decided what strategy to use, they go talk to the drive coach, and the drive coach can also implement their ideas about what strategy to use. And then together, they go talk to the alliance partners and finalize which strategy that they should use during the next match. And another thing that is very important for strategy at competitions is to make a pick list. And this is something that is made the day before alliance selections. So that's usually the day after, the night after the first day of quals, but it's different depending on the length of the competition. And it's during pick night, which is a fun event where everyone who's a member of strategy and drive team usually too, and anyone who's scouted gets together if it's a local competition, it would be at someone's house, or if it's a travel competition, it might be someone's hotel room. And then they make a list of every robot ranked on how much we want to pair with them in an alliance, so that we could have it during alliance selections. This is important if we're an alliance captain, so we can easily know which alliances to choose. It's especially important now that we have the 45-second rule and we need to make quick decisions about which other teams to choose. And then it's important in making this pick list to know your strengths and weaknesses, as well as the other team's strengths and weaknesses. And on the pick list, prioritize robots that complement our skills and protect our weaknesses. For example, if we're a good feeding bot, we might need to choose a good cleaning bot. If we're not so good at the amp, we might choose a robot that's really good at the amp. And even if we're not an alliance captain, we could still be picked. So it's important to have this pick list in order to help our fellow teams on our alliance make strategic decisions about who else to pick. And when making this pick list, it's important to consider more than just quantitative data, like how many notes they scored, but also how reliable is their robot? How skilled and adaptable and experienced is their driver? What is the team's usual strategy? Do they clean? Do they feed? Do they do full field cycles, or do they do a mix of multiple of those? And that leads us to this example of a pick list.
Hi, I'm Kira. I'm going to be presenting the example of the pick list. As you can see on the very left, we have the teams. We have what archetypes they are. We have what autos they run, the notes, and our prediction of alliances. And so autos are important because autos need to work together to grab as much notes during the autonomous period. Notes are just anything we feel is important to know. And then archetypes are especially important because we need robots that can work together to create an effective match strategy. So you've already heard of scouts, and this is just going to be what scouts do. So what is scouting? Scouting is where scouts keep track of robots during matches, and they input data into websites like Osprey, which will be discussed in later slides. But yeah, so there's also the head scout, which ensures that data is incorrect and scans data to make sure it's correct. And while they can also serve as a fill-in for scouts if there's a problem, they can troubleshoot problems and direct scouts to look for certain qualities in a robot to see how well they would work with others. So this is an example of a scouting schedule. This is an example of a 2-day competition. As you can see, we have breaks on the right and during lunch, and everyone is assigned a specific robot. And this is a good scouting schedule.
Hi, my name is Vanya, and I'll be talking about the scouting websites. So our team uses 3 programs to effectively record our data from the scouted matches. These include Osprey, Mercy, and Neptune. So Osprey. Osprey is used by scouts to collect data during competitions, and includes quantitative data and qualitative data. And this website does not need any Wi-Fi to be used. So on the bottom left screen over here, you can see a place to put your name, the team you're scouting, the current match number, the team you're from, and the position of the robot on the field. On the second screen is the autonomous period screen, where you can input the cycle of the robot for that period. After clicking continue again, you enter the teleop period screen, where you can click the buttons to input quantitative data, such as how many speakers they did, if they missed any amps, what was their climb level at the end of the match, etc. And after clicking continue again, you reach the end of the last screen of Osprey, where you can add climbing quota, defense quota, and general quota. And quota is qualitative data, and this is data that cannot be represented through numbers. And if you made any mistakes during autonomous period or teleop period, you can fix it by clicking to add or subtract some number of points. That takes us to Mercy. So over here you see the QR code. So after all the scouts have finished writing their qualitative data and fixing any mistakes they had, the head scout will have Mercy open on their computer, and only they need Wi-Fi, and they will pass a QR code scanner. And after every scout has has correctly scanned the QR code, all the data will be uploaded to Mercy, and they can just press save and it upload to our database, which is called Neptune. So Neptune is the team database where all the data is uploaded from Mercy and TBA, which is the Blue Alliance. And Neptune is very crucial when making things such as pick lists. So we can see the rankings of the robot, we can see the robot's strengths and the weaknesses, and we can also compare the robots, see their predictions and summaries. Thank you for listening. Any questions?
We'll also like share the, what's it called? The slides in the chat so you can like click the link.